Hello everyone, and welcome to my Bold and Beautiful Gossips 24 channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. The Bold and the Beautiful has always thrived on chaos inside the Forrester mansion, but nothing has shattered the family more deeply than the most unexpected alliance forming right in front of everyone. Quinn Forrester and Ridge Forrester, once sworn enemies, now standing side by side, united against Eric Forrester, forcing everyone at Forrester Creations to question loyalty, love, history, and legacy. It begins quietly, as Ridge watches his father spiral deeper into emotional exhaustion over business pressures, Brooke's opinions and Donna whispering from the shadows, urging Eric to sign off on one more bold change to the couture line. Brooke feels confident she has Ridge on her side as always, believing her marriage gives her power over what happens at the company, unaware that Ridge has been quietly pulling away, agitated, betrayed, and frustrated by Eric's refusal to step aside and let him lead. Ridge sees Eric still wielding total control over every design table, arguing with Zend about fabric direction, and overruling Thomas on shape, and his patience reaches a breaking point. He wants leadership. He wants the CEO seat. He wants Eric to finally step down. But Ridge knows he cannot battle Eric alone. Enter Quinn. Fierce, calculating, emotionally wounded by her downfall but burning with desire to reclaim respect. She approaches Ridge not with seduction this time nor manipulation, but with brutal truth. Eric may love his family, but he is blind to his own weakness, blind to how much damage his stubborn pride is causing. Quinn reminds Ridge that Eric humiliated her publicly, destroyed her marriage, denied her forgiveness, and replaced her with Donna, a woman who thrives off Eric's nostalgia rather than the real world. Ridge listens. He hates Quinn for what she did to his son, for her affair with Carter, for breaking the Forrester name apart, but he cannot deny one thing. She is right about Eric losing control. Quinn presses harder, telling Ridge that Eric is hiding medical secrets again, refusing health exams, pushing himself into long work nights because he is terrified of becoming irrelevant. Ridge has suspected this. Steffi too has noticed Eric shaking at his desk, struggling to lift design frames, gripping pens too tightly to hide tremors. Ridge confronted Eric once. Eric dismissed him coldly, saying, "I built this company. I die before surrendering it." Those words changed Ridge. That moment planted the seed for the most shocking partnership the Forresters have seen since Stephanie manipulated her children decades ago. Meanwhile, Brooke, oblivious, unaware of Quinn's involvement, assures Hope and Donna that she and Ridge are closer than ever. Brooke still sees herself as the Forrester matriarch in waiting, replacing Stephanie, protecting Ridge from his temper and defending Eric's wishes. But Brooke does not know Ridge has been meeting secretly at Il Giardino with Quinn, whispering strategy over candlelight, strict business but dangerous proximity. They speak about the board. They speak about voting power. They speak about Thomas, Carter, Steffi, and how every Forrester employee would react if Eric is removed. Ridge hates that he needs Quinn. Quinn hates that she must trust Ridge. But both want the same thing: Eric out. Carter becomes suspicious first. He sees Ridge leaving Quinn's home late at night, witnesses their heated whispers backstage during a fashion preview, but says nothing, not yet. Carter knows Quinn's eyes. He knows the tone she uses when she tastes war coming. He still loves her beneath every scar, and watching her stand beside Ridge rips open old wounds. He warns Quinn that Ridge will betray her. Quinn smirks. "I know exactly who Ridge is. That's why he's perfect." As days progress, Ridge pushes Eric harder. He demands innovation. He demands younger leadership. He demands a vote to restructure CEO authority. Eric slams his desk and shouts, "This company is not a democracy. It is a legacy." Brooke hears about Ridge challenging Eric and instantly blames Thomas. She barges into Ridge's office, lecturing him about loyalty, telling him that Eric deserves peace and respect. Ridge says nothing about Quinn, nothing about the plan, nothing about the board meeting being scheduled secretly. Brooke leaves furious, convinced Ridge is simply stressed and behaving recklessly, not realizing she is now frozen out of the most explosive uprising since Quinn once blackmailed Liam. Brooke tries to confront Steffi, who warns Brooke to stay out of business affairs. Brooke refuses, reminding everyone that she will always protect Eric's vision. Ridge tells Quinn that Brooke will fight tooth and nail to stop them. Quinn shrugs. Then we cut her out of the picture. Quinn has been waiting years to see Brooke powerless. Nothing tastes sweeter. Everything escalates when Eric collapses in his office after an argument with Ridge over design direction. Donna screams, calls 911, and clings to Eric's hand, sobbing. Brooke blames Ridge immediately. Ridge looks wrecked, believing this proves his point. Eric is physically failing. Quinn sees opportunity. She tells Ridge that the family must choose between emotional attachment and business survival. Ridge agrees, but guilt eats him alive. He never wanted Eric physically harmed. Stephanie's portrait above the mantel seems to stare down silently, judging Ridge, reminding him he once vowed never to betray his father. Brooke visits Ridge that night, trying to reconnect, offering love and support, but Ridge refuses to share what he's planning. Brooke breaks, begging him to trust her, but Ridge lies and says everything is fine. Brooke senses Quinn's influence. She storms to Quinn's home in a rage. Their confrontation is explosive. Brooke accuses Quinn of poisoning Ridge, whispering lies, manipulating weak hearts. Quinn fires back, saying Brooke built her marriage on Ridge's worship and insecurity. Brooke vows to expose their alliance. Quinn laughs. Expose what? That your husband finally thinks for himself. Meanwhile in the hospital, Eric wakes up, weak but furious. He refuses to resign. He promises to walk back into Forrester Creations and finish one final grand collection. Donna supports him, but she is terrified Quinn and Ridge will attack again. Katie hears whispers and informs Bill, who sees opportunity to stir trouble in exchange for business leverage. Bill loves chaos at Forrester Creations. He smells blood in the water. When Eric returns to the office, every designer waits silently. Ridge presents documents to reorganize company structure, placing Ridge and Steffi above Eric in creative approval. Eric rips the papers and throws them at Ridge. Ridge tells him he is being irresponsible. Eric tells Ridge he is heartless. And then the bomb drops. Quinn steps out of Ridge's office holding legal documentation clarifying Eric's board voting restrictions, claiming his age and medical status allow the board to override him. Eric's eyes fill with betrayal. Quinn, the woman he once loved, the woman he forgave countless sins for, now stands with his son against him. Donna breaks down crying. Brooke storms in, screaming, accusing Ridge of treachery, calling Quinn a snake, demanding everyone respect Eric. But Ridge points at Quinn and says, "This was her idea." Quinn smiles because she knew Ridge would betray her the moment Brooke walked in. But she planned for that too. Quinn reveals she has Carter as her legal witness, and she announces a board meeting requiring a majority vote. Steffi walks in and supports Ridge. Thomas supports Ridge. Zend hesitates but feels pressure. Carter remains silent, torn between duty and Quinn. Brooke promises to fight, to expose Quinn's past crimes, to prove Ridge is unfit. And Ridge finally snaps, yelling that Brooke only knows how to control guilt and drag him backwards. Brooke's face goes pale. She has lost Ridge's trust, and for the first time she sees Quinn not as a nuisance, but as a rival equal in power. Quinn turns to Eric, whispering that love cannot run a corporation, and that Forrester Creations deserves a future. Eric asks why she is doing this. Quinn looks regretful. "Because I learned from you, Eric. When the world doubts you, you take control." Eric realizes his company is being pulled out from under him. He collapses into tears and Donna holds him. Brooke vows, "I will burn this company down before I let Quinn take what's yours." Ridge whispers that Brooke doesn't understand. Brooke shouts that Ridge doesn't understand love. Quinn stands proudly watching Brooke unravel, knowing revenge has never tasted so righteous. But as everyone breaks into separate rooms to plan their next strategic moves, something unexpected happens. Ridge begins doubting Quinn. He wonders whether removing Eric will destroy his soul. Quinn whispers to him again, "You came this far. Don't turn weak now." Ridge nods, though he is haunted. Meanwhile, Brooke visits Bill Spencer and begs him to help her stop Ridge and Quinn. Bill agrees, not for Brooke but because he wants Forrester Creations vulnerable. He begins making secret calls. Steffi hears rumors Bill may try to buy controlling shares. The company edges toward civil war. Quinn and Ridge pushing to remove Eric permanently, Brooke rallying to stop them, Donna calling lawyers, Carter drowning in guilt, Thomas caught between loyalty and ambition, and Eric quietly planning one final strike of his own. Because Eric Forrester may be older, weaker, and emotionally wounded, but he is still a Titan. He is still the name on the building. And he will not surrender without a war that may destroy every Forrester in the process, including Ridge and Quinn, whose alliance may burn into romantic tension, mutual destruction, or even something darker. As tensions rise, Brooke stands alone in the mansion foyer staring at Stephanie's portrait, whispering to the ghost of her rival for strength, realizing she may lose Ridge, the company, and her identity if she cannot stop the storm Quinn and Ridge have unleashed. The Bold and the Beautiful promises that the next episodes will explode with betrayal, courtroom battles, forbidden kisses, Eric's revenge plan, Quinn's dark agenda, Ridge torn between two women, Brooke broken but dangerous, and a war at Forrester Creations that will change this family forever. The fallout from Ridge and Quinn standing united against Eric spreads through the Forrester world like wildfire, and in the days that follow, the tension becomes so thick inside Forrester Creations that employees whisper in elevators, interns hide behind drafting tables, and designers schedule early lunches just to avoid crossing paths with Ridge or Quinn. The building, usually buzzing with creative passion, turns cold, stiff, and afraid, because this isn't just a leadership conflict anymore. It feels like the start of a generational war. Ridge wakes up every morning before dawn, stares at the Los Angeles skyline from his loft, and tries convincing himself that what he's doing is right, that taking control will protect Eric's legacy, that Quinn is necessary for the fight, and that Brooke's feelings are collateral damage in a war he didn't start. But deep inside, Ridge cannot ignore one truth. He betrayed his father. He remembers being a child, sitting at Eric's feet as Eric sketched gowns, dreaming about fabrics Ridge couldn't yet pronounce, listening to Eric whisper, "Someday this will all be yours, my son." And now Ridge wonders whether he earned that inheritance, or whether he's stealing it. Quinn, meanwhile, wakes up thrilled by the chaos. She drinks her morning coffee like victory champagne, savoring the taste of Brooke's tears and Eric's shock, believing destiny is finally giving her back the dignity that was ripped away. But Quinn also feels something else. A spark watching Ridge fight. Something she has not felt since her affair with Carter shook the world. Attraction. It terrifies her, because Ridge is the most dangerous man she could fall for. And any emotional slip risks everything she has built. Carter, trying to focus on legal paperwork, cannot sleep knowing Quinn has stepped into a tornado. He sees her differently now, not as the woman who once loved him, but as a woman marching toward an execution platform she built with her own hands. He asks her to step back, to let Ridge handle the dirty work, but Quinn refuses, telling Carter she has waited her entire life to feel powerful, and she will not hide now that the spotlight finally shines on her again. Ridge and Quinn meet privately each night in his office after hours to review board votes, restructure filing, rewrite leadership clauses, and prepare for the upcoming company showdown. Ridge begins calling their meetings strategy sessions, but to everyone in the building, they look romantic, suspicious, and electric. Donna watches them from afar, heartbroken and terrified. She holds Eric's hand each evening as he sits in the bedroom reading old Forrester magazines, wondering how everything he built turned into a battlefield. Donna assures him Ridge will come around. Eric just needs to give his son time. But Eric isn't convinced anymore. Eric sees betrayal in Ridge's silence, and betrayal in Quinn's smirk. Still, Eric refuses to collapse. In secret, he schedules meetings with lawyers, quiet, hidden appointments that even Donna doesn't know about, demanding legal options to block Ridge from company reinvention. He digs through the past, through archives, through old contracts Stephanie once wrote in ink darker than blood, looking for anything to stop Ridge. Meanwhile, Brooke cannot eat, cannot sleep, cannot think without seeing Ridge standing next to Quinn under office lighting, acting like a united force. She wants to smash the memory out of her skull. She tells Hope she feels like she is losing her identity, losing her worth. Brooke, for decades known as the woman Ridge always returned to, is suddenly the outsider, pushed away, shut out, forced to watch two enemies bond over betrayal. Hope tries comforting her, promising Ridge still loves her, but Brooke shakes her head, whispering, "Not like before." Brooke prepares her own battle plan. She calls Bill Spencer first, then Katie, then even Thorne overseas, explaining to each of them that Eric needs rescuing, even if Ridge must be destroyed in the process. Bill listens, fascinated, smirking, telling Brooke he always warned her Ridge would break her heart. Brooke ignores his taunts and begs him to help block Quinn. Bill agrees, Not for love, not for loyalty, but because he knows Ridge's destruction would weaken Forrester Creations long term. Steffi hears about Bill's interest and warns Ridge. You built a war with Quinn, but Bill is your real enemy. Ridge shrugs off her concern, refusing to believe Brooke would work with Bill again. But Brooke is desperate, and desperation makes her dangerous. The next morning, Brooke storms into Forrester Creations dressed in power red, heels echoing through the marble halls like gunshots, and demands a meeting with Ridge. Ridge refuses at first, telling her he is busy preparing for a vote, but Brooke slams the office door and confronts him. You are destroying your father. You are letting Quinn control you. Ridge laughs, not mockingly but bitterly, and tells Brooke her obsession with Quinn blinded her from seeing the truth. Eric is not well. Brooke's voice cracks as she asks, so your solution is to rip the company away and humiliate him? Ridge whispers that Eric left him no choice. Brooke asks him why he shut her out. Marriage means partnership. Ridge says this isn't about marriage. Brooke breaks down sobbing, asking if Quinn is the reason. Ridge explodes, shouting that Brooke's insecurity and constant manipulation destroyed their marriage long ago, that she cannot handle Ridge acting independently, that she needs to dominate. Brooke slaps him hard, her palm echoing across glass walls. Quinn hears it from the hall and smiles. Later that day, Quinn confronts Brooke near the steps of the main office, and the two women explode into a verbal war so vicious interns hide behind mannequins. Brooke screams that Quinn will never truly be a Forrester. Quinn laughs, saying Brooke will never truly hold Ridge's heart. Brooke, trembling with rage, vows, I will bury you. Quinn whispers, good luck. You don't have Ridge anymore. Brooke shoves her, and Carter rushes in to stop them before fists fly. Quinn smirks and walks away victorious. Carter pulls Brooke aside and warns her not to underestimate Quinn. She is not playing pretend, she is playing for keeps. Brooke leaves Forrester Creations shaking, knowing she has lost something she never believed she could lose, Ridge's loyalty. Meanwhile, Thomas and Steffi gather in a conference room, whispering about what Ridge is becoming, questioning whether Quinn is poisoning his moral compass. Steffi wants control to remain within the biological Forrester bloodline, but also believes Ridge deserves leadership. Thomas, however, secretly doubts Ridge is strong enough to lead without collapsing emotionally. Thomas wonders whether Eric has one more trick waiting, and he begins investigating Quinn, determined to expose her weaknesses. Later, as Quinn walks alone through the warehouse section of the building, Thomas approaches her silently and confronts her, demanding to know what her real goal is. Quinn tells him power is her oxygen and revenge is her truth. Thomas warns her the Forrester bloodline will never let her win. Quinn gets inches from his face and whispers, watch me. Meanwhile, Eric, armed with legal advice, starts drafting a new will. He wants to ensure Donna, not Quinn, becomes the owner of certain company rights if he dies. But Eric hides everything from Ridge, believing secrets are the only weapon he has left. That night, Eric sits alone by the fire, feeling weaker, shakier, staring at the glowing embers and hearing Stephanie's voice whispering in his head, fight them. His chest aches, not just medically but emotionally. Ridge was always his pride, his son, his legacy. Seeing Ridge stand beside Quinn slices through him like betrayal born from his own bone marrow. Donna sits beside him and cries silently, promising she will never leave his side, promising she will protect what belongs to him. Eric kisses her hand and tells Donna that the war begins tomorrow. Across town, Quinn hosts Ridge at her loft for another secret planning session. They open wine, look over spreadsheets, discuss public announcement strategies, and Ridge compliments Quinn's strategic mind, calling her brilliant, underestimated, and fearless. Quinn blushes, realizing Ridge sees her differently now, not as a villain, not as an outsider, but as an equal intellectual partner. Attraction pulses between them like electricity humming through exposed wires. Ridge stands behind her reviewing documents, their hands brush, and Quinn feels her pulse spike. She tells herself to focus, but Ridge leans closer, whispering, "You saved this company." Quinn whispers back, "Not yet." Carter calls Quinn late that night, voice shaking, confessing he still loves her. Quinn listens silently, aching at the sound, remembering the passion that nearly destroyed the Forrester world. She almost cries hearing Carter's voice tremble. But she cannot answer love with love anymore. She must answer destiny with fire. She tells him gently to move on. Carter hangs up heartbroken and decides to help Eric in secret. The next morning, Carter delivers hidden documents to Eric confirming that Ridge's new board vote can only occur if Eric attends physically. Carter tells Eric that Quinn forced this rule intentionally. It is their trap. Eric shakes his hand, realizing Carter may be the unexpected ally he needs. Ridge and Quinn announce the vote date publicly that afternoon. Brooke hears the announcement and collapses into Hope's arms sobbing, saying she has lost everything. Brooke finally stands and tells Hope quietly, "It's time to fight dirty." Hope begs her not to, but Brooke has snapped. Her heart is shattered beyond repair. That night Brooke goes to Bill's house and begs him to move forward with a hostile takeover plan. Bill tells Brooke if he begins attacking the Forresters they might never recover, but Brooke nods and says that is exactly what she wants if Ridge takes over. Bill agrees and steps outside onto his balcony smiling up at the moon, whispering, "War begins tomorrow." Meanwhile, Quinn visits Eric secretly late at night. She walks into his mansion uninvited and stands in his doorway, looking at him sleeping. Donna wakes up and screams at Quinn to leave. Eric hears the argument, limps downstairs and confronts Quinn. Quinn apologizes, not for the war but for loving Eric once upon a time. She tells him she wishes he had stayed with her, because if he had loved her better, none of this would be happening. Donna calls Quinn poisonous trash. Quinn calls Donna a golden doormat. Eric orders Quinn out. Before leaving, Quinn says, "Tomorrow you lose everything." Eric turns pale and collapses into Donna's arms. The next morning is vote day. The Forrester building becomes a war zone. Media cameras line the sidewalks outside. Paparazzi swarm staff trying to uncover insider information. Inside the boardroom, Ridge stands tall beside Quinn while Brooke stands behind Eric, gripping his shoulders protectively. The room divides down the center, Forresters versus Forrester traders. Steffi votes first. She chooses Ridge. Thomas hesitates, then chooses Ridge. Zen chooses Ridge. Carter abstains. Donna votes Eric. Brooke votes Eric with trembling hands. And then Eric, shaking, heart pounding, ready to vote to save himself, collapses again. Quinn whispers, "He's stalling." Brooke screams for an ambulance. Ridge panics and rushes to Eric's side. Paramedics run into the boardroom and lift Eric onto a stretcher. Ridge cries openly, begging Eric to stay alive, saying he didn't want this, not like this. Quinn watches coldly, but even her eyes soften for a moment.